Hello. Twitch clips suck and are very, very broken. And you should know that by now, as an astute viewer of the channel. It is impossible to go one day on Twitch without having something break. It's impossible. I'm telling you, chat, you cannot spend one day on Twitch without having something not work. Whether it's watch streaks, clips, chat doing weird stuff, the platform is in decline. Why? Because they let go of like 400 people and there's no one left to maintain these systems. It's very sad, really. Welcome in, everyone. Welcome to all of you. No one has claimed first today. That's funny. That's actually very funny. That none of you have claimed first. Are you all afraid? No one wants the gift. None of you want the free stuff that comes with first. That makes sense. That makes complete sense. Look what I have here, chat. Look at this. Does anybody know what this is? This right here is a Stream Deck Plus. Because I was gifted a Stream Deck Plus by Mimi Two Shoes as an advance birthday present. Because it is my birthday next week. More knobs and more buttons. The problem is that I don't know what to do with all these knobs. So that's a bit difficult. I don't do birthdays, but other people do. Other people are doing birthdays. I don't celebrate birthdays. But other people celebrate my birthday, which is fine if they want to do that. I certainly will not say no to more presents. Don't insult your chat. We're not all knobs. No, some of you are not knobs. Some of you are dials. Some of you are buttons, most certainly. So hello to you, Marcy Popsis. Hello, Steffi Yost, Exegete. Anybody else hanging out in chat today? It's good to see all of you. I hope you all had a good week, a productive week. I can see that someone unfollowed me. It's just really obvious because I looked before. Because someone followed me earlier today, and I had the little notification thing, and the number was 1392, and now I looked in my board next to the bitrate, I have 1391. So obviously someone didn't like my go live message today. Probably. I'm guessing. Maybe it's someone who doesn't enjoy showers. Or maybe it's someone who followed me for something else, and then, you know, now I'm not what they thought I was. Or maybe it's someone who followed me while they were drunk or otherwise impaired in their thinking, and they realized the mistake that they made when they sobered up. And then they, you know, they unfollowed now when they realized what had happened. Wild. Unfollowed background. Am I being followed? I am being followed, aren't I? So as you may have noticed, I have added the enhance and dehance back to the rotation of the channel points. The one that we're missing is time warp. So if you wanna spend some time doing that one today, we could probably make time for it. Hi, Dev Panda. I know you didn't notice. I just happened to be this close to the camera by accident. It's not like you did anything in particular to make me this close to the camera, right? Right? Exactly. Fortunately, I have the power to reset it at any time.
Garbage.
I can reset it at any time. That's right. So my week, finally, after almost 3 months, we have reached a significant milestone at work. And we are all, barring like some major stuff, we will be releasing some massive amount of reports and things to external partners next week, which means that I finally have time to do stuff that's cool again. And I'm really happy about that. But it also means that I'm exhausted. Because this week I worked exceptionally hard this week in order to get that done, in order to like get over the hurdle, because we wanted to have it done before Easter. We had communicated that we would that we were delayed and that our next update would be after Easter. We didn't promise to deliver it before Easter. Does it mean you're getting laid off? No, it doesn't. The opposite. We're actually hiring someone right now for our team. Although they're in our team, but they're going to be doing something very different. No data leaks whatsoever. Permission structures are very strict. It will not be possible. It will not be possible to access any confidential information, etc., etc. Social hacking will not work on me. I promise you. Does it mean you're getting laid? Well, finishing all the reports at work does not have any kind of correlation to how Mimi Two Shoes and I engage in sexual activities. So I'll just leave that. I'll just leave that there for y'all. So how was your week? Because that's a big win for me and my colleague. Like it's a big win. We finish this big milestone, deliver that. We get like official sign off next week. We can send that out, and finally we can do really, really cool stuff and do fun stuff, you know, which is nice, which is really cool. There's plenty of stuff on the table for what we're going to be doing, what kind of things we're going to be building. We are going to be building a few data products actually, which is interesting. Can't talk too much about them, unfortunately. But yeah, the analysis that we do is the basis for a lot of data products that will be coming soon. So that's very exciting. And yeah, otherwise things are very exciting on the, I don't know what you call it, side hustle front or whatever. I will be traveling to Azerbaijan in May to deliver part of this course that I've designed on data analytics. And yeah, I'm really excited. I'm really excited to go. I've never been there. It seems like a really interesting place to go. I'm going to spend a couple days afterwards to explore a little bit and see what's around. I'll obviously take a bit of time off from streaming because I won't be streaming IRL from Azerbaijan. Although I believe the internet would be sufficient. I just don't think it's something I'm gonna do. Unless, I don't know. No, it's not something I'm gonna do. There's no unless. I cannot promise in any way to stream IRL from Azerbaijan. I might hop into co-working or something. I don't know. on Discord. That's more within reason. Yeah. It's been a good week for Exegete. Did a huge amount of writing, but I got up at 3 a.m. So you should probably have a nap. Yes, you should have a nap. Also, what kind of writing? Like documentation? Or do you say writing when you mean coding? Some people do that, you know. They say I did a lot of writing today and they mean coding because they wrote on the keyboard. You know. Also, Yoast, your comment about a fake account getting purged. Yeah, that's possible. Is in terms of losing a follower. That is, yeah, that's possible, I guess. Somehow unlikely. It's unlikely, I think. I think it's unlikely. It happens, though. So, yeah, that's basically all of the news for now. Dev Panda had a great day. Took my boys to a butterfly house and to see some dinosaurs. One of those groups of animals is not live anymore. You do know that, right? Like, when you say you took your boys to see some dinosaurs and butterflies, only half of that group is still around. But I have been to a butterfly house in, when was that? November. And that was really cool. We have a very good one here in Switzerland. Crystal Palace Dinosaurs. This looks cool. Where is this? Bromley's Crystal Palace Park. Dev Panda, I had no idea that you were based in the UK. I don't know why I didn't. Why did I think that you were somewhere else? Not sure why. Not sure why I thought that. Anyway, that's cool. Yeah, butterflies don't exist anymore. Dinosaurs are real. You know the whole like aliens thing? Dinosaurs. Who did it? Dinosaurs. No, the butterfly house is really cool. I had real problems with my camera because it was so humid there that it was really hard to take photos because my lens kept fogging up because of the change in humidity between like the very warm area of the butterfly house and then the rest of the area. They had other animals there too, but like the butterflies are like the star of the show, right? They are historically accurate dinos, maybe not scientifically. Wait, do you believe that history is not scientifically accurate? I'm a little bit confused by that, Dev Panda. How can something be historically but not scientifically accurate? How does that work? It's like you can recount something and then it's historically true but scientifically false? Like how does that... Wait, I'm really confused by that one. But anyway, so today is a bit of a different episode of the Data Cafe. First of all, my crystal orb of prediction says that today is going to be a very quiet stream. So today I planned something which is a little bit more hands-off, because I know that there won't be as many people here to challenge and talk about various stuff and engage in various things. So we're going to be doing a little bit of a deep dive later into one topic in particular called RAG, Retrieval Augmented Generation. It's in the context of learning for LLMs, large language models. But we'll get into that. They were made in the 19th century and are best described as 19th century interpretations of dinosaurs. Aha, I see. So they're based on the knowledge that we had at the time, which we now know to be scientifically not necessarily accurate. Wow, that is a fast drop, Ian. Is that because you used a fast emote? What the heck? Oh, and you landed. Very impressive. Very impressive. How are you doing today, Ian? That was very impressive. Hi, Ghost Daddy. Good to see you as well. Welcome back. That emote was like maxed out on speed there. So we're going to be learning a little bit about we're going to be deep diving into retrieval augmented generation later. But first we're going to cover a couple of news articles. There's not as many as normal because I also think that I will end stream a little bit earlier than normal today. It's not going to be like a whole 3-4 hour ordeal. We will see. We'll see how things go. Maybe the energy levels change. My energy levels are a little bit low. As I said, it's been quite a week for me. I'm glad to be sailing into the weekend. I know that next week is only a 4-day work week for us because it's Easter. So I did want to ask chat a question about Easter. When you're celebrating Easter, I don't celebrate Easter, but when you're celebrating Easter, chat, do you watch Twitch? Like, is that a time of the year? Is that a holiday where you spend a lot of time on Twitch? Like, I typically see quite a lot of people stream over Easter, but I don't know how to judge whether I should stream over Easter because I have 4 days off and I have some ideas of what I would like to do during those 4 days. But I'm not really sure if that's, you know, if it's interesting. Less lately, it gets a little distracting. I could see that. Especially if you've got like family, animals, whatever. I could see that being a challenge. But for you, I'd make an exception. Well, I wouldn't want you to make an exception, you know. I don't celebrate Easter, but I would watch Twitch if I did anyway. So concretely, some of my ideas are I would like to do a very small IRL stream. I would like to go for a walk. I would like to go for a walk with you and talk a little bit about some stuff that I've been thinking about. Not a 72-hour stream. No, I don't think so. I think my computer is only just getting to terms with streaming without crashing. So we've had 2 streams now. No OBS crash. Crossing my fingers. I don't know if it's because of the OBS update or because I closed a program while I'm streaming that I previously had open, but it's all cool. It's all good. It's fine. Ian, congratulations on being first. And I'm guessing Steffi is going to claim not first very shortly in a moment. There we go. Called it. Steffi was waiting for that one to happen. Yeah, IRL stream because I have some thoughts and I want to work through them with all of you and also test my IRL rig to see if it works. Like to see if it's a viable thing. I don't know how long battery lasts. I don't know all those things. It's just something you kind of just have to test out, you know. Otherwise you just don't know. So that is that's an idea. The other idea is I would like to stream like I would like to just hang out in Discord and, well, stream to Discord in the sense that show what I'm doing, but talk to everyone while I'm doing it. Like I want to record a YouTube video. I have a very concrete idea for a video that I've been preparing, and I'm probably going to record that over Easter. But it would be cool to have also time to hang out with all of you in the Discord. So I was thinking about that as well. What I don't think is possible is 72 hours.
Why?
72 hours of streaming is just not happening.
Why?
You see, Ian, that's why no one redeemed it. Because you get timed out. And you thought you were lucky, which is funny, because everyone made you believe that you were lucky by not claiming first, you know? And I'm not going to tell how people how to stream, but, you know, Panther having this super first seems like super sus to me. That seems pretty sus, let's be honest. I'm also going to try and drop, see what happens. So yeah, those are my thoughts. I'm not asking you to pay for my thoughts. Ian, thank you for the bits. Are you trying to get it? Are you trying to make it easier for yourself or more difficult? I appreciate that. The synchronous nature of Twitch alerts. The alert has to finish before the next alert can play. So I would say let's get started. How do we start? I don't know. Let's do this. So today's meme of the day. Today's meme of the day is a teaser. This is a teaser because this is a gateway to some of my thoughts right now. I've been thinking a lot about how I use AI and how creators use AI in general, and what that's going to look like in 6 months from now or a year from now. And this question about whether AI is better or just cheaper is one of the things that I've been thinking about a lot. As I've been thinking about quality, in the context of many creators at the moment in the tech space.
Why?
Like Salma and Jason and others, creating videos without a lot of production effort. And traditionally you might say that isn't a good video because it doesn't have a lot of production effort put into it. But some of those videos are truly very philosophically satisfying and very deep because they're very personal to the people making them. You know, White Panther talking about her split heritage and you know, this other creator talking about, you know, like this laid off vlog, and there's a lot of people who are kind of just bearing their soul, and it's on an iPhone. It's not shot on, you know, some fancy mirrorless camera like this one, right? Like this one here that has, you know, incredible depth of field and, you know, all this kind of stuff. Oh, what's the clip? What is that? I've been thinking about quality in the context of many creators at the moment in the tech space. Oh, I saw it now.
Why?
Like, I saw it. The tiny bunny come out. And that's Jason so cute. And others. I didn't know that. That's cool. I didn't know there were tiny drop bunnies that come out. Yeah, so you could argue that better and cheaper is possible with AI. The question is, of course, how do you assess quality? What does quality mean to you? And for me personally, quality means one thing and one thing only. Is it valuable to my audience? That is the only thing that I care about. I really don't care about anything else. I don't care about number of views. I don't care about number of follows. I don't care about number of subscribers. Those things are nice, of course, but I honestly just don't care. I really don't care about it. And that puts me in a weird place, because most AI is about augmenting your workflow today as a creator and making you faster. And by doing things faster, you can maintain the same quality, but it is sometimes very difficult to do so. Something has to give, right? In the price matrix, or in the famous matrix triangle of cost, value, and time, it's very hard to do something that is in the middle of this. It's very, very difficult. Have I tried reading Zen and the Art of Motorcycle Maintenance? I've heard of that book, but I have not read it. But I feel like it would probably sound a lot like the stuff that's in my brain at the moment. So yeah, those are some of the thoughts I've been having. So the meme of the day today is me questioning what the purpose of AI is for my workflow and how I use it. For example, let me show you an example. So when I stream, before I start the stream, I make a thumbnail. And this thumbnail is the universal thumbnail. I use this for the YouTube video, I use this for the stream VOD on Twitch, and I think that's something that I do manually, and it takes me somewhere between a minute and two to do. Why would I ask AI to do this for me? If I want to uphold a particular standard, if I want to take those 1 to 2 minutes to think about my title, you know, why would I spend 1 or 2 minutes prompting an AI to create something for which I already have a template for? It doesn't make sense, you know? Terso just released an AI Insights feature that gives you optimization suggestions. Is that optimization for SQL queries? What's Terso? I'm not familiar with Terso. Speaking of quality, I just booted up my 14-year-old desktop, booted right up and installed Pop OS. Is that a Linux distro? Terso. Database analytics, okay. Ah, so you can analyze the queries themselves. Cool. That's very good. Yeah, we do that with BigQuery. We do that with our queries on BigQuery right now. We try and understand which queries are using up the most amount of money, which is pretty easy. SQLite at scale. Interesting. What's the pricing like? Free to start. 9 gigs of total storage, 500 databases. 1 billion row reads a month, 25 million row writes a month, 1 database group? It's pretty good pricing, actually. You'll never be charged while on the starter plan, but your usage may become limited if you exceed. Huh. That's fun. That's kind of cool. Very cool. Pop! OS is a Linux distro. I thought I was gonna sneeze, but I didn't. Anyway, so the first article of today. Let's get started with that. I was very surprised. I was very surprised to read about this. At the end of February, so as you know, LinkedIn is part of Microsoft. Just as a preface. Also, Marcy Popsis, that is a very good drop score. Well done. So, this was a pretty interesting thing that came out of LinkedIn. LinkedIn has made some changes in context of the DMA. And so, because LinkedIn is such a large platform, they have to comply with Europe's new law about Digital Markets Act, DMA. And what's interesting is that LinkedIn decided to comply by coming out with the thing that we least expected, which are LinkedIn official APIs. If you're someone that's working with LinkedIn, or you're a creator that, posts on LinkedIn and creates content there, you'll know that getting access to your data from LinkedIn has been extremely, extremely difficult until now. And what's really cool is now they've built dedicated APIs so that you can actually extract meaningful data from the platform through these APIs. So they've built a whole developer documentation for this, and they also built APIs for pages, company pages and entities and things like that. So I advise you to go have a look at that. I am pretty surprised about this because that's not how I expected LinkedIn to comply with DMA. But that's a very cool way of doing it, is saying, we can give you all this information. Here's an API for it, or download it through your profile. I think that's pretty cool. So I'm going to definitely try and start using those in some way. Because I create quite a bit of content on LinkedIn, and I've always wanted to know more about how it performs and, how it works, really, because it's such a mystery, actually. So yeah, that's a pretty interesting piece of news. I don't know if any of you use LinkedIn actively. Does anyone here use LinkedIn? Or is it like a dead platform to y'all? Because y'all are boomers. You've got jobs, so you don't need LinkedIn? Is that what you're saying? That'd be a very weird attitude, because LinkedIn is not for job seeking in particular only. I connect to people but don't actively post. I don't have time for social media. I have a child. I feel you. I feel you, Exegy. I normally don't really... I interact for the purposes of either trolling, like for amusement, or because I want to say something that has value to someone, I believe. Otherwise, I don't just post for the sake of posting, like twice a day or something like that. I also don't have time. Simply don't have time for that. So anyway, that's the LinkedIn story. What's also very interesting, another big platform has made a change. YouTube.
We're going outside!
No. We are not going outside. It is already very dark outside. It's 20 to 9. I'm not going outside. I'm staying in. I'm not going anywhere. I'm very cozy at home, thank you. I don't have value for people outside my work, and that's debatable. I think that's wrong, Exegy. I think you have a lot of value. I think everybody has something of value. I'm like a child. I don't really use LinkedIn much. I have a quick peek every month or so to manage connections. When you say manage connections, do you mean like accept invites and stuff? So YouTube has released a small change that is, however, quite significant, which is you now have to label when you upload a video whether it contains AI generated content. Now it's very interesting because the question is, do any of the following describe your content? Let's zoom into this. Oh yeah, okay, here we go. Makes a real person appear to say or do something they didn't say or do, alters footage of a real event or place, generates a realistic looking scene that didn't actually occur. Those are the three questions. If you have to answer yes to any of those questions, it is considered altered content. And we don't really know what this does yet in the algorithm, right? We don't really know what effect this has. So I've been marking no on my videos. I don't use AI for any of these purposes. So I think that's, in my case, it's fairly standard, but you cannot set this up to always have an answer. You need to check it every single time. And that's really annoying when you're uploading a lot of shorts, a lot of YouTube shorts. This is quite annoying. Hi, that onion. Does this mean I can soon filter AI content out of my feed? That is potentially, yes, onion. Can I call you onion? Just onion? Or do I need to call you that onion? Or this onion? Or the onion? Hi, Ched Dev, and congratulations on being famous. Congratulations. Good to see you again, Ched Dev. This could be a first step in YouTube developing filters to label altered content. Yes, it's possible. It's possible. Everybody calls me onion, so go ahead, just don't call me late for dinner. Oh! Your message wasn't posted due to conflicts with the channel's moderation settings. Oh, Ched, you wrote famous, didn't you? You wrote the word famous, didn't you? You can't claim fame. Ah, it's already gone through. It's okay though. We're gonna do it manually. You have to tell me what you want in there, and I'll change it for you. Ched Dev is now famous. Oh no, wait, it doesn't add the message. It just says that you're famous. Yeah, okay, that's fine. It just says that you're famous. But I'm curious what your message was. You tried to say that you were in chat. I can't think of any blocked terms. Oh, yes. So famous, the word famous is blocked in my chat because all the follow bots use famous to promote. So we just blocked the term. And now they don't say anything in my chat anymore. Do you want to buy fame? You just have to be rich. If you want to be rich, just buy some fame. Yeah, Ched, yeah. That's the easiest way to block the stupid promotion bots. I am not a bot. Test me. Okay. Write famous, but don't write it as famous. Write it as famous.
Look at this photograph every time I do. It makes me laugh. How did our eyes get so red? And what the hell is on Joey's head?
Karen, what are you talking about? It was smart enough to filter out the 0 with space Unicode character. Famous. Yeah, see? There you go. But anyway, So yeah, maybe this is the first step to filtering out AI-generated content. Content created with YouTube's own generative AI tools, which rolled out in September, will also be labeled clearly. So that's done automatically. YouTube only requires creators to label realistic AI-generated content that could confuse viewers. So if it's obvious that it's AI-generated, like if we cover some AI-generated stuff on stream, that's fine, because it's very obvious that it's AI-generated, because I'm talking about the fact, oh, let's put this prompt into DALL-E or whatever, or Midjourney, right? While I'm fascinated by AI, misinformation is a huge issue and should be labeled properly. Yes, it's absolutely correct, Onion. I mean, we have such an issue with misinformation. We have such an issue with misinformation when you combine misinformation and stupidity and AI. That is the golden trifecta of absolute mess ups, right? Like that's where things go horribly wrong. When you combine those three things together of stupidity, AI, and let's call it fake or misinformation, right? When you hit those three together, just perfect storm of crap, you know? It's a perfect crap storm. I don't know if that's a thing. Maybe. Thanks for throwing balls at me. As always. Perfect cult behavior. Yeah, cult. Very culty. Crapstorm. So, check out this, chat. Check out this. We generally think of Apple as being a pretty respectful company. You know, towing the line, paying people properly, not messing with regulation, stuff like that, you know. We're not, this is no TikTok. This is no TikTok. But Apple's in deep caca because the US government is suing them. They're suing them because Apple is being accused of maintaining a monopoly. Onion, thank you very much for the follow. Stream Elements has told you that the future belongs to those who believe in the beauty of their dreams. Do you have dreams, Onion? You should have dreams. We do? Have you met Apple? No, I've not met Apple, but in general, Apple is a bit tame compared to other companies. I'm reading this as someone suing Apple having monopoly over iPhones, which I guess is true. Yes, that's what's really interesting about this. It is an antitrust lawsuit against Apple, with 16 states and the District of Columbia to file a challenge to the reach and influence of Apple, arguing that the company has violated antitrust laws with practices that were intended to keep customers reliant on their iPhones. Everyone knows about Batterygate and ChargeGate and all of these incidents where people are, you know, forced to upgrade, things like that, right? The tech giant prevented other companies from offering applications that compete with Apple products like its digital wallet, which could diminish the value of the iPhone, and hurt consumers and smaller companies that compete with it. You're right, Soy Pete. Also, hello, Soy Pete. You're right. Google Pixel is a thing. I also have a non-Apple phone. I have a Nothing One phone, which is fantastic. But you could argue that this is somewhat true. Apple has prevented other companies from offering digital payment services on their in their ecosystem, which could be considered antitrust behavior, right? Also, Soy Pete, how are you doing? Thank you very much for stopping in. For those of you who don't know, Soy Pete is also a streamer. Maybe we should watch a little clip. What do we think? Should we watch a little clip of Soy Pete? See what we get? Do you do any clip maintenance? Any clip hygiene?
Writing this stuff out loud. So I'm doing a machine learning thing for work. We wanted the Jupyter notebook.
Well, Soy Pete streams are very cool. This clip is not very reflective of that. You're heading to Data Council next week. That sounds like a very official meeting of some kind. Data Council? Data Council 2024. Oh, isn't that in Texas? That's in Texas, isn't it? Let's see who's there. Let's see who I know. Who do I know? Wait, I don't know any of these people. I don't know any of these people. Wait. Oh, okay, I know Chad. I know Ben. Who else do I know? Oh! That's very interesting. Who else do I know? Who else do I know? Ah, Lindsay, yeah. I'm going to be speaking at an event that's sponsored by Sakota in April. Who else is there? Oh, look at that! Look at that. Look at that. Soy Pete is going to be speaking about scaling data reliably, a journey in growing through data pain points. Very cool. That's awesome. Congrats. That's really cool. That's really cool. I'm sure your talk is going to be very, very cool. I'm sure you're very well prepared. That's cool. Yeah, I mean, I recognize quite a few faces going there. I wouldn't say I know that many people. But data's a big field, right? Am I even a data person? I don't know, Yost. Soy Pete, how about this? Do you think this hat makes me more of a data person? Yes or no? Do you think this hat makes me more or less of a data person? What's your opinion on that? I've had a few different inputs on that. I'm looking for someone in particular, but I don't think... Oh, there he is! Ryan! Ryan is super fun. Do you know Ryan, actually? I think the question is, does it make you more or less of a daddy? Yeah, I've seen you interact, I think, on some LinkedIn posts of Ryan. Have you met Ryan in person before? You should definitely say hi when you see him, for me. We haven't had a chance to meet in person yet, which is very sucky. Maybe someday. Ah, you met last year. That's cool. That's awesome. So anyway, this iPhone thing is basically the government even has the right to ask for a breakup of Apple. This whole, oh, let's break up big companies thing. It's a big deal at the moment. It's a big deal at the moment, right? Thank you for the bit, Ian. Everybody drop while you have bits running around. That's a good idea. Yeah, I mean, you know, the government is big on like divesting and cracking up companies at the moment. The lawsuit caps years of regulatory scrutiny of Apple's wildly popular suite of devices and services, which have fueled its growth to a nearly $2.75 trillion public company. Direct aim at the iPhone that it's sold since 2007. Riemann, thank you very much for the follow. Welcome to the stream. Good to see you here. MX. Wait, that's the fintech. Yeah, I think it's a fintech. By tightly controlling the user experience on iPhones and other devices, Apple has created what critics call an uneven playing field, where it grants its own products and services access to core features that it denies rivals. Over the years, it has limited finance companies access to the phone's payment chip and Bluetooth trackers from tapping into its location service feature. It's also easier for users to connect Apple products like smartwatches and laptops to the iPhone than those made by other manufacturers. This is very true. People talk about the iGarden all the time. People talk about the iGarden all the time. I'm just reading text. I can swap the things around. Should I give you the ability to swap? Because, you know, I've thought about giving you full control over my streaming layout. I don't know how that would go, though. You know. I'm not sure it's such a good idea. Anyway, each step in Apple's course of conduct built and reinforced the moat around its smartphone monopoly. Higher prices and less innovation is the result of this, basically. Thorfinn71, hello, welcome to the stream. Good to see you. You had control of the stream once. Built a moat, reinforced it, filled it with lava. That is basically Apple. You got Apple here in the center, and they did this, and then they built another thing around it. Then they put spikes all around it, like that. And once you're in the iGarden, once you're here, you don't know how to get out. You can't get out anymore. Did I just land in my own stream? 95? Wow. It is a user's choice to use Apple. That's very true, but it's not about the initial choice necessarily. It's the fact that once you're in the system, you can't get out of it. It's actually like a hamster wheel. Actually. It's like a hamster wheel. Once you're building up so much motion, this is Apple's thing, right? Once you're building up so much motion, you can't just exit anymore. It's not so easy. You get flung out of the thing, right? Which is true. It's very true. If you get locked in. Gotta close those rings indeed. So it's a big lawsuit. I mean, the US government suing Apple, it's kind of a big deal. So they have the right to ask Apple to break up their business into different sections. I don't know how that would work. But it is very unclear what is going to happen and how it will affect consumers. And of course, it's probably going to be many, many, many years before anything happens. Glad I pulled my girlfriend out of the ecosystem. I mean, if you're talking about pulling out. But I mean, Apple has fought off other antitrust stuff, like the whole App Store Epic Games saga with Fortnite. Also with the where was the one? Also they've also presented data in the past that people don't want to change away from an iPhone. Apple diehard over here. Is that true, Soy Pete? I'm a big Mac user since about 12 years or so. And I really like Macs, but I don't like iPhones at all. I much, much prefer Android phones. I really do. So yeah, we will see what happens. This is a very long article, by the way. It's a very long article, but it's very good. And as usual, if you would like to read the full article, if you would like to, you know, get all the deets, then you can just go over to my Patreon shortly after this stream, day or so, and you can read all of the stream recaps that I write for free. And the stream recap from today will have all of the data in it that you need. We'll have everything in it. Everything. All the links. Hi, Forex. Has there been any grumbling about TikTok yet? There has not been any grumbling about TikTok yet. The only thing I don't use them for is home automation. Okay. Okay. Yeah, I use, I have Philips Hue at home for my lights. I have a Mac Mini computer. I have a Android phone. I use Android Auto in the car. I believe in best of breed, the sort of like best product for the use case thing. And some people believe in like buying into the ecosystem and, you know, having everything tie in together. Things work for me just fine. Like I don't have any very niche requirements, so it's not a big problem for me, you know. So after the break, we're going to dive into some more articles. We're going to cover a bit of stuff, and then later we're going to go into detail, learning more about RAG. RAG. Retrieval Augmented Generation, which is very important for large language models, and it's something that has interested me for a long time. I say long time, I mean a while. And so I want to read more about it and find out more about it. So I've collected a few resources for us to go through together on stream. And now it is time for a 3-minute break. But don't worry, you're not going to miss anything. 3 minutes of ads or clips or watching a bunny rabbit. It's totally up to you. We will see what happens. See you in 3 minutos, as they say. Nat 1. Oh, in the pool. Yeah, when you drop. Oh, that's so... Yeah, it's true. It's kind of cute. Hold on. Let's see if I can get one. 9949. I don't even... Oh. 9949. I don't even know what angle that ends up being. How is that even like a real... How is that a real angle?
Teach.
Oh, she changed her pronunciation. She changed her pronunciation in the middle. Why is she flipping pronunciation? Turned off ad previewing for subs.
Advertisement formats.
Meta
Clips.
Meta
Meta.
Meta clip. Meta levels.
Why?
9 levels of clips. 8 levels.
Clips.
Meta clips.
So meta. This is level
8 levels. Any of you who have turbo, n equals 6. I'm glad you're so amused by that. Really. Console logging. Oh no. Oh, 359. Nice. Thank you, Flyboy. Perfect. Absolutely. That's not good. I wonder if there's like any indication what it was. Oh, hello. Well, that'll haunt your dreams for a while, chat. Thank you so much. Enjoy your Do this. Wait, I could get... Wait! I could get A buy it. I could get A to buy it and send it to me. Yeah. Yeah. I could get A to buy it. Okay, someone clip this for me and send it to A so that when he wakes up in a few hours, he will automatically have it. We're gonna do like this. We're gonna do shout out for A. A is hello. So that's the step, that's the process for Justin Numbers. We are going to redo the website. We are going to MVP the feature. We're going to MVP the first feature without code if possible, as little code as possible. And then I... Front end is easy, back end is hard. Jokes, of course. Everything is very difficult. Hello. It's good to see you again, Chad. See you soon, Soy Pete. Catch you soon. Why chat, why are you so mean sometimes? Like, is that hardest part of IT stack is the users. And yes, we are back in real life, ChedDev. And I'm sorry, ChedDev, I cannot refund you for disconnect stream. That should not have been active, actually. Because, yeah, it should not have been active. I think it went active. It went active when I went live because I had something set up that I shouldn't have had. So unfortunately, ChedDev, 5k points. Please remind me that I owe you 5,000 channel points for something. Like when you want to redeem something, you tell me, and I'll try and make up the 3,500 for you. Just keep reminding him about it. So we are back talking about hardware. Specifically, no, it's not this one. This one. We are back talking about hardware and IRL stuff. And I have two bits of news for you today. Logitech has launched a Micro Four Thirds camera just for streaming. I'm 5k short of end stream. Can he transfer his 5k? No, you may not transfer points between each other. And end stream is currently out of commission anyway. We don't have it active yet. Just keep saving up. You'll be fine. So Logitech has launched something called the Mevo Core 4K camera. It is a Micro Four Thirds format. Yeah, I know, Micro Four Thirds, which is really interesting because it means that you can actually attach any Micro Four Thirds lens to it. And honestly, it's a pretty cool thing. If we look at the article in particular, as in the product. So this is the Micro Four Thirds camera. What I really like about it is it has mounts everywhere on it. It obviously comes with nothing, just comes with that. What is really cool about it is that because it is Micro Four Thirds lens mount, you can get any Micro Four Thirds lens to use with it from any manufacturer. It does look a bit like a Blackmagic, doesn't it? And what's really cool as well is that the Micro Four Thirds, or the Mevo Core, supports quite a lot of stuff that's pretty interesting. First of all, built-in Wi-Fi, 6E, which supports very, very high transfer rates. So it allows you to capture 4K 30 and 1080p 30 live streaming. And it has all kinds of like crazy processing stuff for audio if you want to use it for audio. Has three mics in it, like a triple mic array. But what's really interesting, I don't know if they mention it here. Yes. For more advanced scenarios, creators can now connect additional workflows via the camera's HDMI output and built-in NDI and SRT integration. This camera has built-in NDI support. If you're not familiar with NDI, NDI is a transfer medium for video and audio processing over networks. And it is incredibly cool and very fast. I use NDI on my computer to get the output from OBS into other programs. It's the easiest way to do that. So that's pretty interesting. You can obviously hook it up as a USB-C camera, as a wired or wireless webcam. It's $1,000 for the camera body, so you'd have to get a couple of other lenses. You'd have to get a lens, at least one. But I think it's interesting. It's a very interesting offering. Are people live streaming in 4K already? So YouTube, I think, has 4K support now for live streams, if I'm not mistaken. Live stream 4K. I'm not sure what is the maximum settings for YouTube. Stream resolution. Yes, so you can ingest up to 4K 60 FPS on YouTube. Wow. I mean, this blows Twitch out of the water completely. Well, so it's not an OBS integration. That's the thing. It's not an OBS integration. It is a native HDMI output or built-in NDI. So if you have NDI on your computer, you could have NDI sources in OBS. And so I'm actually curious about how this is going to work. I don't know. Someone's gonna have to buy one and try it. I simply don't know enough about it yet. Hi, Exceldro. Your TV's still 1080p. Well, not everyone can upgrade everything all the time, Thanks, Ian, again for the bit, by the way. Appreciate that. Lots of bits today, Ian. Did you fill up your wallet again? Your Twitch wallet? Exceldro, we've had 2 streams so far. This is the 3rd, by the way. We've had 2 streams without any crashes. And it's since I updated OBS. Because you know what happened in the latest OBS version, Exceldro? You probably know this. They updated the dependency with Qt. So I'm thinking Qt was the problem. But I'm still quitting the Rectangle app while streaming, just to be safe. But yeah, I would like to try this, but I do not know how to get a Logitech collaboration. So if any of you are connected in any way to Logitech, I would love to have a go at trying out this camera. I don't have to keep it, but I would love to try it out, the Mevo Core, because I think it could be really interesting. It has so many mounting options. I like the fact that it could fit very nicely behind the prompter. It's a bit, it's a bit chunky, but it's certainly possible to fit. And I've seen a photo to show you this Logitech Mevo Core. Yeah, it was a minor version, but it obviously did something. So they have some kind of a video. Yeah, it's this. if you look at how this camera is built, you can actually see some interesting stuff. So they've set up, there's so many different mounts on it. You can actually mount on all sides at once. You can actually get all of them mounted at once. So these don't have to be individual. You can mount all these things on the camera at once. It's not just one mounting point. Normally with a normal like DSLR mirrorless, you'd have to buy a cage to get that many mounting points. So it is interesting. It is an interesting proposition. I just don't know about the quality. I really don't know about the quality, but I would like to see that. Yeah. And another hardware-based article for today, which we talked about Neuralink a couple weeks ago, and I asked you the question, chat: would you allow Musk to put a chip in your brain? And we made a couple of jokes about it, and one of the jokes we made was about charging. And that was it's pretty ironic given what we're going to read in this article. What do you use to edit your videos? So edit what videos? Chat dev. So to edit my YouTube videos and YouTube shorts for my channel, where's my channel? So to edit my shorts and these YouTube videos that I make, I use DaVinci Resolve. Yeah. I would certainly not allow Musk to do anything regarding my body. Neither would I. Yeah, I use DaVinci Resolve. Now the thing is that the clips, the shorts, happen largely automatically. I press a button, it generates a 100-second backtrack. So if I show you here, you see here, all of these clips here, vertical, vertical, vertical. These are all clips from the stream, but they're already in 9:16 format. Because I'm running the free Atom OBS plugin, Atom Vertical. And so when I clip something, it's already in this format. In September, see? And what I also do is I run different audio tracks, and because it's in MKV, you end up with different audio tracks. You end up with your audio split. And so for the clips, all I need to do is basically trim left and right where I want them to be, or I cut them up a little bit. But for the YouTube videos, it's a little bit more involved, but I use DaVinci Resolve for both. Yeah, the free edition. Free edition. And actually, it's kind of wild. I looked this up the other day. Can anyone predict how many shorts I've made? In case you can't read it, 482 YouTube shorts. So I started in 2022, May 2022. I made two shorts. I actually started making kind of daily shorts in May of 2023, June. And I mean, I don't know about you, chat, but that's less than a year. And I have 400 plus shorts. So on average, I've had more than one short per day in the last year, which is wild. But I generate so many shorts from streams. I throw a lot of them away because they're not good, you know. As I'm deaf in one ear, they're keeping an eye on it, and there's already an implant that creates an ear. Charging is wireless, it's held on properly to the skull by a magnet. No need for Elon. I change my shorts daily too, but I use them more than once. I have not reused any of my shorts yet. So Neuralink has received a lot of criticism and support from both sides. And people were very skeptical of what Neuralink wanted to do. Musk's company said they wanted to solve basically things like quadriplegia and things like that. So they've had a live stream this or last week with their first human patient. It is a man named Noland. He's a 29-year-old quadriplegic. And he was injured in a kind of freak diving accident, broke multiple parts of his spinal cord. He's been paralyzed from the shoulders down. And Neuralink has enabled him to effectively use a computer, whereas before he was required to use a tiny little mouse stick kind of thing, and now he's actually playing games like chess and Civilization 6, which is a pretty complicated strategy game. So we don't know the effects of this exactly, right? There's no long-term study, there's no data to show that this isn't causing him some kind of harm in another way, but this is causing him to now be able to live, qualitatively speaking, a completely different life than before. And that's really cool. This doesn't excuse the fact that the whole project is still riddled with skepticism, and this is just one patient, right? One patient out of potentially hundreds of thousands that need to have due diligence done, right? What's really interesting is that the biggest restriction so far is having to charge the implant after playing video games for a long time. So basically, this guy is going through the same thing that we go through when our controller dies for a PlayStation, or when we run out of batteries for our mouse for our computer. Like, it's literally the same problem. Which is funny because we talked about like the whole plug in your head thing and all this kind of stuff, right? I still don't understand how it charges. I assume it's magnets, but what's interesting is he described moving the cursor on the computer as using the force. Yeah, he basically QI charges. I think it's like QI charging. Yeah. So that is kind of interesting. It's very anecdotal, as you know, in science. It's one example, right? Hasn't been replicated at scale. It doesn't mean anything for the longevity of the patient. We don't know anything about adverse effects. We don't know any of those things, but purely from a qualitative point of view, it's a big step up. If you were previously effectively almost entirely paralyzed, and you're now able to play Civilization 6 using your brain to control the mouse, that's kind of cool. It's very exciting. It's very exciting, and I hope that there aren't more horror stories. Exactly, Chet. So let's talk a little bit about AI, and we're talking about another one of Musk's projects first, which is Grok. Grok is X, or Twitter's, I should say, LLM, large language model chatbot. And what's interesting is that Grok was under fire when it came out for having basically no guardrails. When they developed Grok, they said, Grok basically can talk about and do anything. You want to build a bomb? Ask Grok. Grok will tell you how to build a bomb. And that was, there was a fair amount of criticism levied against Grok for that. Also because we don't know what the model is that Grok was based on, and you didn't see like the weights and all that stuff. But now, the company that developed Grok, XAI, Elon Musk's company, they've open sourced it. They have open sourced the entire architecture of the underlying model of Grok, so that people can now exactly see what it's built on and how it works, and all of the 314 billion parameters that it's tuned on. So that's quite interesting that they've decided to do that. I don't know why they've decided to do that. I don't really know why. The article doesn't really go into detail about why they've decided to do it. 314 billion tuned parameters open source behemoth. So it's a big model. Grok's weights are out under Apache 2.0. More open source than other open weights models, which usually come with usage restrictions. Less open source than Pythia, Bloom, and Olmo, if you're interested in that. So it's a pretty interesting move. I do think that you're right, Yost, that the timing of this is a little bit suspect. On March 11th, Musk said that XAI was going to open source Grok.
Why?
And at the same time, Musk has launched a lawsuit against OpenAI about not being open. So you're right. You're right that this is probably a dig at OpenAI about not being open source. Very interesting. So who here has a... Do any of you have a Midjourney subscription? I personally do not have a Midjourney subscription. Because Midjourney released something this week, which is really interesting. It's called consistent character. And of course, if you are using AI to generate imagery, you probably know about this problem. That when you generate multiple images, you cannot reliably generate the same character within those images. It's very, very difficult. Especially when it comes to like the face, right? So basically, consistent character allows you to have the same facial features and other characteristics across multiple image generations. So basically you open the Midjourney bot, you create your first image, you copy the URL of that image, and you create a new image that references the original using the cref parameter.
Why?
Then you adjust how close it should be to the original. When you adjust how close it should be to the original, you can add a number between 1 to 100. And then you can basically have that original reference character be used within other images. And this is the first step to Midjourney video generation. That's right, Steffi. I agree with you on that. It means you can put the character anywhere. Like this. Different scenes, different angles, right? I think that's really cool. I think it's a pretty cool feature. Setting to 100 will keep the face and clothes identical, just changing the situation. Setting it to 0 will not use the cref at all. So 80 is good if you want the clothes to be the same. 60 is good if you want the clothes to be different but not too extreme. I put my character on the ISS using a prompt 42-year-old bearded geek on the International Space Station cref CW60 AR169. Okay. Before Alan left OpenAI, he wanted to gobble it up and make it a full profit hidden under Tesla, and that's why he left. So also super coverage of that bitching not being open source. Yeah, Musk in general is bit of a handful. Bit of a handful. I don't really know how to describe Musk properly. I think the word to describe Musk is eccentric. I think that's the right word. He's very eccentric. He tends to really just do everything to the extreme. There's no real middle ground with him. Oh, I'm gonna sue the company that I previously worked with because I don't believe in what they're doing anymore, and I'm gonna jab at them by open sourcing my own chatbot to make it, you know, to swing public favor and stuff like that. I think it's not really someone I would want to work with, you know? I understand that he's taking huge risks. He's taking huge risks and he's made a lot of money, but he's made a lot of money on the backs of others and not necessarily by being really innovative and creative, right? We've had like recalls of Tesla vehicles because they weren't careful enough in the factory because he's trying to produce fast rather than reliably, right? Anyway, so let's talk a little bit about Mixline. So Logitech is pretty, I guess Logitech is really leaning hard into the streaming space at the moment, or content generation space at least. They've released, Logitech has released a piece of software called Mixline. Now I can't test it because unfortunately it is Windows only. But Mixline is basically audio routing. So we're talking basically Elgato Wavelink competitor type thing, okay? So you can download and sign up for the Windows beta. You can basically mix software, routing, mixing to help you, well, stream or record easier. And it's apparently drag and drop, which is why I think it's kind of cool, because a lot of these programs are not drag and drop. So you get independent volume control, and yeah, you can basically select Mixline as a source, and then you can just use it. Yeah. He's very eccentric, very eccentric. So if anyone tries this out, if anyone tries out Mixline, I would be curious to know more about it. Drag and drop sounds dangerous. Yes, fire-breathing drops. Do I have a dragon? Do I have a dragon? I don't have a dragon. I have fire, though. I have fire I can drop. Oh, this is looking very interesting. Ooh, 78. Okay, I didn't win. It's fine. So that's that. And we also have a second article about YouTube today. Oh, you could just use the dragon emoji. Yeah, that's true. Yoast, you landed. That's cool. Oh! 90. Ian. Doing pretty well. So the second article about YouTube today is something entirely different. YouTube Music now offers something called Hum to Search.
Garbage.
Hum to garbage. Oh my gosh. Can you imagine what that would sound like? Hum to garbage. Hum to garbage. YouTube has introduced Hum to Search for YouTube Music on Android. Basically, there's a song tab next to voice, and this lets you play, sing, or hum, and using AI, it will match it to the sound of the original recording. I think we should try this out. Does this work? Do I have to have a subscription? Where's the song thing? Search for songs. I don't have it yet. I don't think I have it yet. Doesn't look like I have it. I don't have that button. See? There's no button, there's just a microphone button. But okay, I could hum a song. I could hum something else.
Yo, It's the green machine gonna rock the town without benzene. Have you ever seen a turtle get down? Slam and jam into the new swing sound. Yeah, everybody, let's move. Vanilla is here with the new jack groove. Gonna rock and roll this place with the power of the Ninja Turtle bass.
Okay, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. Yeah. I mean, it works. It came up. I'll get DMCA'd if I play it, but cool, okay. So that kind of works. It's not humming. Aha, yeah. You're right, it's not humming. Wait, let's try it humming. No, okay, that doesn't work. So just humming doesn't work. Yes, and YouTube has access to the microphone, but only while using the app, Exegete. Only while using the app. Play, sing, or hum a song. Aha, yeah, so it should look like this. Play, sing, or hum a song. But it's a fun redemption idea. I can hum the Swiss national anthem, yes. I can. Yeah, so I will have to... Not immediately available to all users and devices. Ah, okay. So it's not available for everyone yet. Okay. So, all good. All good. Speaking of Swiss national anthem, let's talk about exciting piece of Swiss news. Our national railway service, the SBB, has carried out a successful test with a remote-controlled locomotive. It's very interesting because they want to basically use a remote-controlled train for short movements or construction sites and tunnel work and stuff like that. And what they've said is that self-driving trains will not be used for journeys with passengers. They've said that already. But it's a fun thing to think about how we're remote controlling a train, kind of like the same way that when you built that Lego set with the train, you know, that you could remote control it. It's basically a life-sized version of that, which is really cool. I like that. Does it fold up and fit in your pocket? I don't think so, no. Like Deutsche Bahn, but more reliable. Exactly. No one has ever been killed by a train with a conductor not paying attention. Yeah, I know, Exegete, right? I know. So the remote control apparently offers greater flexibility during construction work. It would mean that trains could be moved between different locations, and the train drivers would spend less time shunting. That's the official word for trains. And they could board them at the same time as passengers, and things like tripping or falling near the track could also be reduced, right? Less movement. Seems like it's been possible for a long time. Actually, ChedDev, I think it's been possible for a long time. I just think a lot of the safety regulations around it have made it inhibitive for them to do it. I think the technology's been around for a long time. So the test runs were carried out in February and March of this year by 24 locomotive drivers at a remote control panel in Zurich. The test locomotive was located somewhere else in the marshalling yard. This is one of the first tests in Europe, actually, which is very cool. The test locomotive ran at a maximum speed of 30 kilometers an hour. That's actually pretty fast, though, if you think about it. Very cool. Yeah. Nice. So that is this piece of, that's the piece of Swiss news for you this week. Then we have Twitch's news of the week. How many of you knew about the React feature on Twitch? That weird button next to the follow button, basically. Yeah, no one really understood what it was for. No one ever used it, so they're getting rid of it. That's simple. The React feature was launched in 2022 to allow people to live react to your content. And of course, you know, we can say goodbye to reacting on Twitch now by them getting rid of the React feature. And it's gone. Yeah. Prime is React Andy. That's not the same thing. React channels will still exist. If you're ever curious, by the way, about whether a product on Twitch no longer exists, you can head over to tos.gg/twitch-graveyard. That is Zach Bussey's entire list of features on Twitch that have been killed off, deprecated. Things like watch parties, reactions, Twitch Korea, localized Twitter support, squad stream, and the Switch app. Yes, there was a Twitch app for Switch. So yeah, pretty comprehensive. Pretty comprehensive. It goes all the way back to, where does it go back to? It goes back to 2014, apparently. On your channel here, the button seems gone already. Yeah, I think it's already been removed. I think it was a pretty easy thing to remove, to be honest. I think it's pretty easy to remove. Not as comprehensive as Google Graveyard, but we're getting there. We're definitely getting there, yeah. And so for you, chat, I have one more thing prepared. The random pick of the week. And that also means that this week has been one of the only weeks ever that we've ever hosted the Data Cafe, and there has not been a single article about TikTok, which is fun. It's pretty funny. I don't know, the Google Graveyard has been picking up pace. They true, yeah, they have, yeah. They've been killing off stuff pretty well. Also, hi, Kara. Good to see you again. There's no article about TikTok this week. This article, the random pick of this week, is something entirely unrelated. It is a story, which I'm not going to read to you in full, but it is a story about how the 31-year-old heiress is giving away $27 million to 50 random strangers. Marlene Engelhorn hadn't given much thought to the wealth that surrounded her as she grew up. She always considered the fortune inherited from Friedrich Engelhorn, the 19th century founder of German chemical giant BASF, B-A-S-F, to be her family's money rather than hers. Then she came into more than 25 million euros from her late billionaire grandmother in 2022. She had already co-founded the group Tax Me Now and discovered a community in various progressive groups for guilt-ridden rich people like wealth redistribution advocates. But now the 31-year-old had to grapple with the fact that she was a millionaire in her own right. So she is giving away the money. She is letting 50 strangers decide how to give away $27 million. And most of these strangers all live in Austria, and they are all meeting for the first time at a weekend in a hotel in Salzburg in order to talk about what to do with this $27 million. And it's great because they've been dubbed the Gute Rat, which is the good council. The Austrian woman who's donating all the money she inherited to charitable organizations, which is cool. Yeah, well, the thing is that these 50 people have been selected by a statistical process, which is why we're talking about it in the data cafe. They've been selected based on range in location, age, race, socioeconomic background, tons of demographic factors. They want it to be representative of the Austrian population as a whole. So they basically tried to get as many people from society as possible from all different areas. And the goal is not only to give away the 25 million euros, but to also have conversations about the wealth inequality in the country. And what's crazy is that Austria doesn't have inheritance tax. So her 25 million wasn't even taxed. Yeah, so it's a really interesting article. It's a little bit long, but I encourage you to read it. It will be in the stream recap, of course. But yeah, it does sound like a bit, sounds like the setup for Japanese horror movie. They could do the meeting in an abandoned hotel. They could. They absolutely could. I mean, with 27 million, they definitely have enough money to fund the meeting of 50 people. That's definitely not an issue. For some of those people, it's going to be the only time they've spent time in a hotel, maybe. It's possible. I thought it was pretty interesting. That's why it's a bit random, but I thought it was interesting nonetheless. I hope you also think the same. So, it is time to dive into RAG. Does anyone know what RAG is? Before we get started. Just setting everything up for you. Does anybody know what RAG is? Thanks to the Austrian People's Party, who is very strictly against inheritance tax. Oh, is that true? Is there like a party that's like anti-inheritance tax? 72 hours RAG? No. No. I can barely stay awake as it is. RAG is indeed Retrieval Augmented Generation. It is part of the large language model learning process or fine-tuning process, depending how you want to look at it. And effectively, RAG is a way of eliminating hallucinations, but it is also interesting for a couple of other reasons. So what we're going to do is we're going to start things off. We're going to kick things off by watching 30 videos. Now the videos are all like 1 or 2 minutes long. Maybe we won't watch all of them. But there's a playlist from there's a playlist from someone that I really like called Sadie St. Lawrence. If you're not already subscribed to her YouTube channel, you totally should, because she's a really cool creator. And she's gone and made she's teaching like the fundamentals of AI in 31 days. So she's released 31 videos about all these AI topics. And so we are going to skip the first couple days, I guess. We're going to go to fine-tuning the network with a cost function, reinforcement learning. I think we're gonna watch this one first. So I'm gonna turn the music off for this. Here we go.
AI models really just like our pets? And the reason I ask this question is because the same way we train our pets through a process called reinforcement learning is the same way we train some of the most popular AI models. And essentially, it's just as simple as it sounds, right? You have a dog, you want to teach it to sit, so you say the sit command, and every time it sits, you give it a reward, reinforcing the positive behavior. We may also do the same with negative behaviors. And we do the exact same thing when we're training AI models how to learn. We reinforce it with positive rewards for the things we want and negative rewards for the things we don't want. When you think of the term Chat GPT, Essentially, what the P in ChatGPT stands for is pre-trained. So think of it as like buying a puppy that's already trained for a particular behavior.
So like if when you buy a dog that already knows not to pee and poo inside, that's basically like having one of these models like ChatGPT or Dante or Imogen. I also like puppies.
Essentially, there are pros and cons to this, right? It's great to have a dog that you don't have to train, but maybe some of the functions of what that dog does is not what you want. And that's where the alignment portion of AI comes in, knowing how to align it to the individual user or owner's behavior. So next time you're using an AI model, think about training your dog, giving it those thumbs up, thumbs down, or adding to that reinforcement behavior.
Very cool. Okay, that makes sense. Okay. So that was day 18? Day 19, types of neural networks. Okay, this is
When
good.
using ChatGPT versus image generation platforms like Midjourney, are we tapping into the same AI model? The short answer is no. Different types of data require different neural network architectures. Text, image, and audio each have their own specialized models. For image processing and classification, we often use convolutional neural networks or CNN. And then there are generative adversarial networks, or GANs, which employ two competing CNNs to create incredibly detailed synthetic images. Essentially, one network generates images while the other one evaluates them in this continual loop of an environment. And let's not forget about transformer models, which have revolutionized the way we handle language by focusing on context within text. Each type of neural network brings us closer to AI that can see, hear, and understand like humans, each with its own specialized domain of expert. Understanding these differences help us appreciate the vast capabilities of AI.
Okay. So we have different types of networks. So convolutional, generative adversarial, and diffusion models. And what I think could be useful to jump to is the transformers part, because RAG specifically is a technique around linguistics.
If you want to understand how
From my
large language
understanding.
models work, you have to understand transformers. And no, I'm not talking about the TV car kind. These AI models are the magic behind tools like ChatGPT or Google Gemini. How these work is transformers convert words into vectors, basically representing each word numerically, because as we know in lessons before, computers only speak in numbers and very simple numbers of zeros and ones. So we first have to
And ones and zeros never lie, chat. Never forget that.
take the words and convert them to a numeric representation. But listen up, because here's where it gets cool. Unlike previous models, transformers work through a process
I
called
put my faith in
attention,
data,
where it's looking at
information. Ones and zeros never lie.
the relationship between words and knowing where to focus its attention. Think of this as AI focusing on what is important in a sentence. Just as you know when you're telling a story, where the key pinnacle moments are and how all the characters relate to one another. This small aspect of attention is revolutionizing the way we use computers. And who knows, maybe all those spiritual gurus were right in saying that a little bit of attention and where you focus your mind is all you need. Because we know now it sure works for computers.
Okay. So let's look at the LLM ecosystem size. Okay, let's look at hallucination, because I think
I
that's important.
hallucinate, you hallucinate, AI obviously hallucinate. But do we all hallucinate for the same reason? Well, not quite. While human hallucinations are complex psychological phenomenon, AI hallucinations are a result of a context gap. And essentially this works by generating really convincing yet false information when they can't fully grasp the full picture. remember in a previous video, we talked about how LLMs work, and essentially it's just predicting the next word. And most of the time, it does a really, really good job.
So that's a very important point. So what she's talking about is how when you get a response from an LLM, all it's doing is just saying what next word it should predict with what percentages, and then it picks one. And then it does that hundreds of thousands of times, obviously. Just runs predictions on which word is the the best word for the prompt that was given. Context matching. It's exactly very important.
But sometimes it just kind of makes things up because it has to output an answer. So some ways that we are dealing with this is through a method called Retrieval Augmented Generation, or RAG for short. And how RAG works is it allows the model to pull information from a really specific data set. So one of the areas that we see models hallucinate frequently is with new information or very subset context areas within a particular business. For example, you may ask the model, what is Stripe's current valuation? And it will output an answer like 5 billion. Well, it may just be coming up with a guess for this. What we would do with RAG is allow it to search specific documents that would have context to this answer and to double check the accuracy of it. Another technique is mixture of experts. And this takes us a bit further. Think of this as routing the AI model to different sub-models who are experts in different areas.
Wait, so I actually haven't heard of this. We have to go back for a second here.
We'll check the accuracy of it. Another technique is mixture of experts.
Mixture of experts. So this is basically if you have an LLM and it doesn't know how to answer the query with a high enough confidence, if the prediction isn't good enough, it routes it to another model, an underlying model, to answer it instead. Really? Interesting.
And this takes us a bit further. Think of this as routing the AI model to different sub-models who are experts in different areas. For example, you may have one that's an expert in chemistry versus business versus mathematics. And being able to route questions to these really specific models not only help with the accuracy of it, but more importantly, the computational time it takes to process these answers. So while model hallucinations can be a hurdle, we've got the tech toolkit to be able to handle it and are continuing to come up with new inventions to be able to deal with these challenges.
Okay, so basically, it's not like, yeah, it's like using ChatGPT 4, using ChatGPT 3 to fix your prompt. But of course, it's all about specificity in the end, right? Because like humans, it seems, at least for the moment, that models should be built in this way, where these are kind of topics, right? That you actually want models to be really narrow focused so that they have higher prediction scores and higher accuracy, rather than building models like these that are like these general all-purpose models that do everything. That's kind of the reason why ChatGPT built, obviously they have, GPT-4. It's why they built the store. It's why they have the store where you can basically fine-tune a specific GPT to be a specialist in one particular area, because those perform better ultimately. So let's talk about also the last one is continual learning.
We made it to day 31, and today it's all about continual learning. I had so much fun creating this series of videos for you and hopefully making it much more approachable. But most importantly, I want to encourage you to continue your learning journey. And the best way to learn is by doing. Get your hands.
Yes, exactly, ChatDev. Marketplace. So ChatGPT Marketplace, OpenAI's Marketplace. You can create your own GPT.
Dirty take the concepts you've learned, keep watching videos, but most importantly, come up with an idea, try it out, because you will find the answer you need when you work on a real life project. Now, working on a real life project can come in many forms. It doesn't just mean that you have to code. You can come up with a project by creating the application layer and find.
Okay, I thought this was going to be continual learning, as in the AI keeps learning, but I think she's talking about continual learning for us. So ChatDev, the GPT marketplace is only open to premium subscribers for ChatGPT. So if you have a free account, you will not be able to access that. That's maybe why you haven't seen that. Okay, so I have another video queued up here, which is 1:20, which is perfect because then the ads are going to start. So let's just watch that.
What is RAG? Retrieval Augmented Generation. Think of RAG like a librarian and a storyteller working together to answer your questions. Imagine you have a big library filled with books containing lots of information. When you ask a question, the librarian quickly finds relevant books, like a retriever, that might have the answer. Then, the storyteller reads those books and crafts a response, like a generator, using the information found to give you an answer. The librarian finds the right books, and the storyteller uses them to tell you what you want to know. This teamwork between finding information and using it to generate a response is what RAG does, making sure you get the best answer possible. RAG, which is short for Retrieval Augmented Generation, is a technique in natural language processing. It works in two ways. First is a retrieval. It works by finding relevant information from a large database of text like articles or websites based on your query. This is similar to how a search engine works. Next is augmented generation. Then it uses this retrieved information to generate a response to your query. It might summarize the information, provide an answer, or generate new text based on what it found. So RAG essentially fetches information and then uses it to create a useful response, making it more efficient and accurate in understanding and answering questions.
This is good because it also talks about how it also means that RAG can eliminate hallucination because it knows where to find the information. Yes, there's a bunny that pops out of the drop game. Exactly. So see you in 3 minutes. We're going to take a short break and we'll be right back. And then we're going to watch a little bit of a longer video and try and fully understand how to implement RAG, actually. Today's meme in particular is quite spicy. I don't know if any of you saw, but OpenAI's CTO was in an interview last week and was asked a fairly standard question about where OpenAI gets its training data. And when asked this question, the CTO said, "I'm not really sure, don't really want to respond to that." But even worse than that, when asked specifically if they trained OpenAI's Sora on video data from YouTube, this was the expression. This was the expression that OpenAI CTO made. And I don't know about a sound that will only play on track 6. I'm very sorry for your ears because actually it might be very loud.
I've got balls of steel.
This is why you're here, Panther.
For nonsense and
For
stupidity.
nonsense, indeed. And the way you say nonsense instead of nonsense.
I say nonsense.
Nonsense.
That's nonsense.
Nonsense?
I say nonsense.
It's a bit like Bulbasaur thing, isn't it?
Yeah, but it's actually Bulbasaur, isn't it?
It's Bulbasaur. It's just... Get off my case. Just force quit the stream, install the plugin, and restart OBS within 90 seconds, and the stream will continue. The timing on that one, 4x. Oh my gosh, the timing. Did you do it while you were away? It's not enough time. It's not enough time. But anyway, I have other plans for today, so I'm not gonna be blurring myself. Know that it works now. Please send me that sound. I need it. Sure. Uh-oh. Wait, I can't see where it's coming from. Where did it come from? We gotta test it continues working. Thank you very much for the sub, anonymous gifter. He said it. So the logo will continue to move itself in either up, down, left, or right. So you can choose. Hi, Panda. Wait, 24909. That's not even a... Ah! That's not even an angle. That is disturbing. I don't have any pores, Steffi. What are you talking about? I don't have pores. I don't have any pores. My skin is baby. Boop to you, chat, and welcome back. Should we set up the time warp again before we watch the video? Should we do that? Should we set up a time warp again? I feel like we should. I feel like we should set up time warp again because yeah, it's a bit of a shame, you know. It's a bit of a shame that it's not available. So I would like to set up time warp again. So I think we should do that. So let's do that. Let me open up here studio mode. What do I want to do with this? All right, so we need to have a filter on our camera called the time warp scan. Okay. Scan duration. Oh, it's already active. Perfect. Okay, so we need to have time warp. We're gonna do scan duration, maybe 8, line width 5. See what that looks like. Okay, pretty groovy. That's good. Exceldro is actually the creator of Time Warp. Exceldro, are you still in chat? Are you still in the shot? Because that's a cool plugin, Exceldro, to say. Then we're gonna use Atom. We go to channel points, time warp. Oh yeah, how many D20s we got in there? 1, 2, 2 D20s. Very impressive. Okay, so we play a sound. Change scene filter settings. So we want to change camera main time warp. Edit filter settings. Because you have to enter the angle. And I think we said edit filter settings. What was it? Rotation? Oh no! Okay. So it's gonna be rotation. Why is rotation not in here? Can we update this somehow? Hold on. I guess it's called rotation. Rotation. And then we're going to put in a variable, which is the Twitch user input. Okay. Action delay 2 seconds. Scene filter visibility. Camera main. Time warp. Visible. And then we will delay it by 20 seconds. I think that's long enough. Camera, main, time warp, hidden. It's an 8-second thing plus 10 seconds for watching. So 12. 8 plus... Oh yeah, okay, so 18 was fine. 18. And then create a clip. Delay clip creation false. Does that make sense? Yeah, okay. Let me try this out. Let's try this out. Turn it on. Oh, I need to try it with the... channel point. Hold on. No one in chat use it. I'm gonna activate it. No one activate it. Where's the time warp? This is so confusing. I don't know how to find it. Okay, here we go. Time warp. Add that to the active and add it to the distractions. Did it add it? Yeah, time warp. Okay. So now we go back to rules. And then we should have it available in the chat. Where is it? How much does it cost? How come I don't see it? Huh, I don't see it. Twitch. Time warp. Where did it go? It's here. Time warp, here we go. Okay. 69. Oh, it worked. Perfect. Okay. So we got that working again, chat. Is there a cooldown on the actual time warp itself? I think there is. I think there's a cooldown on the reward. Time warp, edit. 1 minute cooldown. Yeah, that's good. Okay, cool. So we're back in business. We are back in business, chat. Look at that. I'm surprised no one is saying anything. You're all waiting to use the time warp, aren't you? I know it. You're all waiting. You're all gonna jump on it as soon as it's ready. Mm-hmm. Yeah, you're all waiting to use it. It makes sense. It makes sense. It makes sense. I might as well be full screen for it the first time. Okay, so that is that. So the time warp is back. I'm sure all of you will be very pleased. Slash disconnect. It's just gonna take the last value. Why would you do that? It's just gonna take the last value, 4x, which is 69. Which is a good angle, don't get me wrong. It's a good angle, but like... Maybe that's not... I don't know. Is that really what you wanted? Are you happy? Are you happy with yourself? Okay, I think it's time. They just like to test things. I know. Alright, so it's time to watch another video. This video is about RAG, but it has some more code in it, so we can actually see how this works in practice. Which is cool. I assume. Might have to refresh this.
Über 20k Umsatz gehabt und inzwischen
ads.
durchschnittlich bei 10k.
Go away.
Okay, so in this video, I'm going to address one of the biggest issues that I see people having problems with in relation to building RAG systems or retrieval augmented generation systems. And that is that they try to use semantic search for everything. You only want to use semantic search where it makes sense to use semantic search. If you're doing search on things that would be the kind of things that are in a normal database, that you would just look up an integer, look up a string, that kind of thing, you actually don't want to use those for doing semantic search. You want to do semantic search where you've got text that you're trying to extract semantic meaning out of that.
So what I think he's saying is that if you already have structured data in the context of RAG, if you already have a database that has rows and columns where you can actually query data, you don't want to use semantic search for that case. That's not the right thing. What you want to use semantic search for is if you have things like document storage that has completely unstructured data in it, things like images, PDFs, right? Because those things are much harder for you to quantify than things that are already quantified. Does that make sense? I think that makes sense. That's how I understand it.
So this brings us to the whole concept of self-querying retrieval. If we look at the diagram for this, we can see that the idea here is that we have a sort of step between the retrieval and the input. So the person types in their query, and then we use a large language model to reformat that query to get both the semantic elements of that, but also to be able to convert it so that we can actually do searches on metadata as we go through this. So this is a fundamental fact that if you're looking for a movie and you want to basically specify the year, you don't want to look for the year using a vector store and semantic search. You want to basically just do a lookup that looks at the year and filters the results back based on that year that you put in. Just the same, if you're doing something for doing searches on Spotify or doing searches with music, if the person gives you the name of the artist, you don't want to use semantic search to look up the name of the artist. You want to do a query that looks for that artist and then uses the semantic search for doing the parts where semantic search is actually strong in this. So let's jump in and have a look at this in LangChain. So we're going to be using the self-querying retriever here.
So I don't really know anything about LangChain in detail. I don't even write Python, actually. I've run into so many people recently who are like, "Oh, you work in data. You must know Python." My answer is always the same: is that no, I don't actually know Python much at all. I know very basic Python, but yeah, LangChain obviously here is going to be in a Python context, so I'm not going to understand the code very much in that sense, but that doesn't matter.
I'm using OpenAI embeddings and the OpenAI models. You can swap out these for, the other models like I've done in many videos before. And maybe at some point I'll do an end-to-end example of building an app with this using Llama 2 and say BGE embeddings. I've just gone for these so that these parts are not the important part in here and the code doesn't take up too much room. So I'm using Chroma as my vector store in here.
So vector store, this is a kind of an important concept because you need to store the results of how you've evaluated things.
Like I said, I'm using the OpenAI embeddings, and then I'm going to pass in data.
So you can see here, this is actually pretty interesting, right? This is just like an example metadata, data and metadata example. But you basically got here like a document which says complex, layered, rich red with dark fruit flavors, which is like page content. And then there's all this metadata like the name of the wine and what year it's from and what rating it's got and the grape and the color and all that kind of stuff. And the thing is that you don't want to do, from my understanding, you don't want to do semantic search over this, because you could just filter this. Like someone could write a prompt to filter this for you. But the idea with RAG is to actually understand how to return this result without doing semantic search.
This is where you would put a lot of effort into preparing your data. In this case, I'm going to be doing search over wines. And wine's going to have a number of different things in here. So you can see that we've got a description of the wine that's in here. We've got the name of the wine. We talk about things like fruit time, going for the semantic search. This is a perfect example that you could do this. And you could basically write a little function that would go through your CSV file, take it out and convert it to something like this for all your different examples. All right, once we've got these, we basically need to embed them and put them into our vector store. So this is what the last line here is doing. It's just making a chroma DB from documents. We're passing in these documents. We're passing in what to use to do the embeddings, and it's going to embed these parts. And so the model that we're using actually knows what a Robert Parker rating is. So this is
pretty important, because when it's storing these embeddings, it needs to understand a lot of context. So by the fact that it understands what Robert Parker's rating is for wine, makes it a little bit easier, I think.
This is a famous wine reviewer that we've got. So these are the sort of two differences that we would purely going to be filtering. But the filter is going to be a comparison, things back that again relate to fruit. So apricot and peach, red fruit, earthy notes there.
So this is how it works, right? When you say, I want a wine that has fruity notes and has a rating above 97, it's basically translating that into fruity, and fruity means this, and then rating, which it's derived a value of 97, and then it basically can return which results equate to those criteria.
What if I say I want wines from Italy? So now this is no query on this. You can see here the query up there for that last one was fruity, right? We can see that this one has no semantic query, but it has an equality, country, Italy. We get the Italian red wines back. What if we want to do the composite of a few things? So here I could say, okay.
That's really cool. Okay. So basically, this would be a good use case for storing facts about things, like transcripts from a stream, for example. And with those transcripts, you could then answer questions. You could answer questions about what I'm talking about on the stream without having to search for, because the query would be equality, right? Like, how many times have I mentioned sequel on a stream? Like, that's easy. But semantic is, how many times have I talked about Trash Puppy or the Claw Team, or, you know, really interesting concepts that don't fit into a classic equality scenario. And that's why when I talk about this stuff, some people like to call me the data daddy. And Trash Puppy, you definitely shouldn't raid me today, because we're going to be ending very soon. So it would be best it would be best if you found another raid target. I think it's too late though. I think it's too late. we're gonna be having incoming in a few seconds. Yeah, it's really interesting. I need to learn how to use RAG. That's the thing. I need to find a way to use RAG. Because if I can't use it, why would I learn about it? You know? Why would I do that? It doesn't make any sense. Like, Chad, do you learn about stuff that you never have any intention of using? Because it wouldn't make any sense for me. Like, I wouldn't do that. You know? I wouldn't go out and spend time learning stuff that I never intend to use. Like math. Doesn't make any sense to spend hours and hours reading up on something and trying something out if I never plan on using the knowledge in any way. Oh dear. Hello.
Could be pup. You can only make trash longer, you know, with an A. This seems stupid. Because now it's like, are you calling a function right now?
Are you calling a function right now?
Called
Trash?
CB. CB isn't a fucking thing.
I will data all of you if that's really what you want. So I was actually telling you not to come here. I was actually telling you not to come in because it's so quiet today here. It's so quiet. And people, we're like talking about RAG, Retrieval Augmented Generation, and a lot of people are like falling asleep because it's boring. You know, so I was telling you to like maybe raid someone else. You should definitely watch like the last 5 minutes of my stream. Like the last 5 minutes of my stream where I'm, you know, talking about RAG, and then suddenly I get this feeling that you're watching me. Hi X Phoenix, thank you much for the follow, Dark Shell and X Phoenix, I appreciate that. Demo day 2 out of 3. What are you talking about? Hi Ginny and STder and Cypher and Ruler. Trash, thank you so much for the raid. I appreciate it. I really do. Look, Fridays is like this. We normally cover news and happenings in the data space, and we covered news, but today I wanted to spend more time learning about something specifically and not necessarily trying it out yet. You're an AI engineer at work trying to improve your RAG chatbot. Lovely. Hi, Turing. Turing Moon, welcome in. Welcome into all of you. Thank you so much for coming in. I appreciate it. How was your stream, Trash? Did you
Daddy,
you generate?
Please give me the data. Daddy, please.
Karen, you are so nasty. To beg like that on stream is... How dare you? How dare you beg? You cannot beg. That's not allowed. So yeah, we covered like a ton of news articles. You can always go and get all the articles, like all the links to the stuff I talked about. I post on Patreon for free, so you can go read these stream recaps. So if you missed the earlier part of the stream where we talked about a couple of different articles and news items, you can always go back and find them there. Easy peasy. And your bot works. I just need to improve the quality of the output. I probably won't be able to help you because I'm only really starting to get into the weeds with RAG. Like, we've been watching a couple of videos and looking more in detail about how it works and the difference between semantic search and equality search and all this kind of stuff. Oh no, Trash, what are you doing? How do you have this many channel points? How do you have this many channel points? How's that even possible? Vision trouble. Fine. Is that better for you? Is this what you want? Is this what you want, Trash? You want ridiculousness? This is so I don't have a library toolkit, XPhoenix, because we're only discussing theory. no practice. So rags. Okay, rags. I'll tell you about rags. Rags to riches, I will tell you. So rags. This is kind of the thing. We've been watching about this example here about wine. How about if you make a search, if you make a prompt that says, where was the example here? If you make a prompt that says, what's a wine after 2015 but before 2020 that's all earthy? So in this case, right, 2015 and 2020, those are equality criteria, right? But the query in this part is earthy, and the earthy thing requires semantic search, right? But yeah, XPhoenix, you seem like an expert, so that seems like a good thing. Like, you can answer the questions for us here, rather than me trying to tell everyone about this. You seem like the person to talk to about this. So, yeah. So what I was about to say before we rated was there's an example from Google itself, from GCP, that you can actually run on Vertex. So their whole infrastructure stuff, right? So I'm actually kind of thinking about doing a RAG example on Vertex. I think the biggest problem is that I don't write Python. So XPhoenix, you have to tell me what platform are you using for your RAG? Like what's the technology you're using behind it? How does it run in production? Because that's something that I've been wanting to explore, but I don't know if I'm able to do it because I just don't write Python, you know? Like, I don't know how I would do it. I just simply don't know how I would write it. Because I think that you need to be able to write Python. Even though this is like a tutorial of, you know, line by line, basically. I mean, there's a sample notebook and everything, so I could probably figure it out. I mean, I do code, just mostly SQL, HTML, JavaScript, CSS, right? Which is not your typical tech stack for a data person. By the way, I know a lot of you are probably wondering who the heck I am. I am part of the Claw, which is the best stream team on Twitch. There's no debate about that. The Claw is host to a lot of cool people like Trash Puppy and plenty of others from all different walks of life. And my personal background is very simple. I studied hospitality and now I work in data, and they have nothing to do with each other. And I'm entirely self-taught. So I'm a data person with like 10 plus years experience. Also, Trash Puppy, mega congratulations to your new role. That's super cool. I was very, very happy to hear about that. And I work day to day. I work in a health-focused mobile app company based here in Switzerland that you've probably never heard of before. And yeah, that is basically everything there is to say. I've been streaming for just over 3 years. Anybody cutting out or just me? Didn't run out of data on my phone. Oh no. Are you running out of data? XPhoenix? Can someone lend XPhoenix some data? They seem to be running out. Sorry to hear that. Yeah, so I kind of reached the end of my I reached the end of my natural conclusion process today, sort of. What I think is really interesting, and what I don't really know, is I haven't really looked at multimodal RAG, but I guess that's necessary if you're processing both text and imagery, right? That's what I understand in multimodal RAG. That's probably something I need to figure out still. Because multimodal means being able to use different content formats. Oh, this is good. It's good. Nice image here. Aren't I the data daddy? Well, yes. I mean, my hat does say that I am the data daddy. By the way, this hat is just... It's so good, right? So yeah, that's kind of what I've been obsessing about recently, is thinking about if I can make my own RAG. Specifically, I mean make my own. Build up my own RAG. Specifically because, and I'll tell you why, Chan. So I've been streaming for 3 years, and I store every single one of my stream transcripts. Every single one of them. So I have a giant folder that has every single transcript of any of my streams, and it contains, I mean, it's not 100% accurate, but it is very accurate in terms of what I've been saying, because my enunciation and pronunciation is apparently very good. So I have like all of this content about what I've said, but you can't just use a query for that, because you can't say, oh, like, I could say like, how many times have I said sequel in the last 3 years, right? That's fine. But it would be really cool to have semantic search for it, to say something like, how many times did I pause for longer than 10 seconds before saying someone's name or something? Like, I don't know, like really weird questions about, or like, what's the most complicated sentence that I've said, you know, according to like this, what do you call it? According to like this framework of level understanding of language. I think for anybody getting started, you should use a company's API. Cohere API is a good starter for RAG. Cheaper than 3.5 and only a bit worse than 4. So you're referring to GPT. 100K token context window. That's a lot. That's big. Okay. Cohere. Cohere R. Command R. Interesting. Multilingual capabilities. Nice. Okay. Not only used to generate text inside of a line. Okay, Command R has been trained with the ability to ground its generations. This means it can generate responses based on a list of supplied document snippets, and it will include citations in its response. Yeah, this is kind of what I would be going for. Exactly. The code snippet below will produce an answer to where do the tallest penguins live, with inline citations. Ah, that's really cool. That's really cool. With position and everything. I like that. That's great. That's really cool. That is very cool. That's kind of, yeah, that would be kind of the thing to go for. Definitely. Okay, so that's fun. Oh my word! I should have stopped raids. I should have just stopped raids. I should have stopped raids. Hey, BBB. It's very good to see you. 15 peoples. Welcome to the stream, everybody.
And other sundries. What is this? Ooh, bacteria. That would be a good one.
What?
Get it? Because, like, pandemic.
Chicken stream?
Barry says it's okay. You should join if you're not a sub, too. You should join. Thank you, Lily. You should join. Teeks, welcome in. Thanks for the follow. Ooh, there's a bandage. That's a good one. Bandage.
I think that's your old
What else?
layout.
What else? What else? Do it.
Isn't it?
Do it. Show us. Show us.
Hey, BBB. It's good to see you. Yeah, I won't be buying a GPU. I won't be buying a GPU, Phoenix, because I have a Mac and I can't use a GPU. So it's that simple. This is not the chicken stream, and you do not need to give me corn in any way. My name is Maddie Two Shoes. I'm a data person. I make content about data analytics, and today we've been talking about RAG, Retrieval Augmented Generation, which is a way of, in a large language model, returning answers that are factually accurate. Do you have a Linux install or dual boot? No, I simple macOS install. Very vanilla. Super vanilla. No complication whatsoever. I wouldn't even consider myself like an engineer formally, you know? I'm really more on like the business analysis side, typically, but I really, really like to understand the underlying technology. That's like really important to me. Rawsome and Deflux, thank you very much for the follows, by the way. Welcome in. BBB, how was your stream? Did you get more videos done today? What were you up to today? What were you doing? What were you doing today? Mac should work. Yeah. I mean, so much stuff is like cloud-based now anyway. It's wild. Yeah, I'm definitely gonna hit the stop raid button now, so that people don't continue raiding me, because we're actually in the process of wrapping up for today, which is a little bit embarrassing. I don't like that. Actually, I don't like that. But if you want to see actual programming content, then I can take you to someone who's actually programming today. So, yeah, so typically Fridays like today, we cover news articles in the data space, AI, all that kind of stuff. Talk about what's been happening there, what things have been changing, like major like privacy stuff, ethical violations, all the juicy stuff. And Mondays, I typically do more concrete coding and data analysis stuff. I do quite a lot of SQL on my channel. I do quite a lot of SQL content because, well, I write SQL, I don't know Python, so I think that could be a bit of a restriction. But this this Cohere looks pretty interesting. We've been looking at a suggestion from chat around Cohere. So this API endpoint that apparently has a pretty generous free API, or free tier, I should say. And basically the concept of RAG, right? So when you give a prompt to a large language model, the prompt effectively, the model is going to try and predict the best words. That's effectively what happens, right? It basically starts predicting words, and it gives like a score to all of those particular words, like a confidence, kind of like a confidence number, if you want to think of it like that. And it basically picks one. It says, okay, this is I'm confident that this is a good answer, so I'm gonna give it that word. And it does that with every word over and over and over. It's just predicting words. So what can happen is if there's a big gap in context, like if you ask it something like, what is Maddie Two Shoes' middle name, right? There's a gap in context because it doesn't have that in its pre-training data set, right? GPT, GP, the P is for pre-trained. So it doesn't have that in its data set. So it just predicts something that is highly inaccurate, just makes it up. So it would say my middle name is like Cassandra or something, you know? And that's obviously well, it's wrong. It's a hallucination in that sense. Glad to read that, Rossum. Are you also a data analyst? Are you also a data person? I actually refer to myself as a decision engineer. I do call myself a decision engineer because effectively the whole point of data, this is what it comes down to, is why are we even using data in the first place? Why are we collecting data in the first place? It's to make better decisions. That is what it comes down to, right? We want to make better decisions. We want to run our business better. We want to eat better ice cream. We want to cook better meals. We want to run faster. We want to get to work faster. Like all those things are based on decisions that we take at that time with the information that we have available to us. And what people typically do, which they forget because it's like a normal problem that we have.
And Secretary Cardona and
Exactly.
Mayor Bowser. And
This
Chancellor
stream
Fairbanks.
will help you get better ice
Thank
cream.
you for joining us as well.
That's right.
And for families across the country.
Yeah. So you have decisions and you have outcomes. And the big problem is that these two things are entirely separate. Entirely separate. Bald-bearded builder and Trash Puppy both decided to raid me today on Twitch. They took that decision at the time that they took it with the information that they had at that particular time. They didn't know what would happen. But if you ask someone, if I ask BBB now, if I say, hey, how did you think the raid decision was? Typically, humans, over half of us, will consider the outcome when we evaluate the decision. And that is a mistake. That is a very big mistake. It's called outcome bias, and it's a big mistake, and we should not be doing that. What you need to do is you need to learn to separate the decision from the outcome. You deciding to cross the road and then getting hit by a car, you can't say that the decision was good or bad unless you have some kind of criteria, right? So for example, crossing the road, very simple example, okay? You have a road crossing. This is my beautiful crossing. Don't at me with my drawing, by the way. Okay? You're waiting to cross. How do you decide whether to cross or not? Well, you look at how much traffic there is, you look at the lights, maybe there's a light, maybe you have a little button that you can press. Are there other people waiting who've already pressed the button? What's the visibility like? All these factors, those are all decision factors. Those are all decision factors. And you basically, in your head, you weigh them all up together and you create a decision from that. Cross or wait. And you keep doing that and you keep reevaluating, and eventually you take a decision and you wait, for example. And you should evaluate that particular decision independently of the outcome. Very simple. Ginny, totally off topic. What pen and drawing tools are you using? I am using, believe it or not, I kid you not, this right here that I'm drawing, it's an iPad. So this is an iPad. See? It's an iPad. Now the reason it works so well is because this is a green screen. But you can do this with anything that has a screen, right? You can do this with anything that has a screen. As long as it has a screen, you can open up this particular thing that I built. I mean, I forked it and made it green, basically. And you can draw on anything by including it in your OBS scenes and green screening it. That's it. Very simple. So yeah. I am going to send you all somewhere else. Hey J Walter, you did not miss anything. Oh yeah, if you want the link to all like my projects and everything, easiest thing to do, just go to my website. Just go to my website, you'll find everything there. You will find everything there. Okay? You will find everything there that you need. So let's take a look. Who can we raid today? El Duderino, thank you very much for the follow. Appreciate that. Building a diff tool in Rust. Very interesting. Oh, large language models locally, but it's in German. Unfortunately, it's not a good target. Hi, White Panther. Is Soy Pete on? Is Soy Pete on? I like to raid down in the category. Yeah, it's the end already, Panther. It's already the end. It's already the end. Let's definitely raid Soy Pete then. Where is Soy Pete? We were talking about retrieval augmented generation and all kinds of cool stuff. Canny Dev. I don't know them. But thanks for the recommendation, Deflux. I'm gonna check their channel. I'm gonna check their channel and get back to you on that one. Definitely want to look at that. Canny Dev. I'm gonna check their channel. I'm gonna check that later. Yeah, let's do Soy Pete. Let's do it. Soy Pete. So thank you everyone thank you so much, really, Bald Builder and Trash Puppy. Thank you so much for the raids today, and really appreciate it. I hope to see you all on Monday. I don't know what we're going to be doing yet on Monday, but I can assure you that it won't be boring. If you're interested in data and programming and stuff, then it won't be boring. So, you know. Standard Pointer, thank you very much for the follow as well. Welcome in. We are just heading out. But yeah, it's going to be so cool. It's going to be so cool to see Soy Pete do some streaming stuff. Golang Backend HTMX, new platform for tech events. That sounds pretty interesting. So it's been cool. It's been cool having you all here, of course. I like streaming. I like it a lot. And I hope to be streaming again very soon on Monday. Should be fine. And if I don't see or hear from you for a while, then take care of yourself, as always. And I will see you. Oh no, I'm being dehanced away. Oh no, it reduces the whole thing. You're gonna make me disappear. I didn't even know this was possible. Oh no, I didn't even know that was possible. Oh, wow. That's incredible. That's so cool. That's crazy. That's wild. I didn't know that was possible. See you on Monday. Bye, chat.